I don't think we're going to see a bigger flip than what we saw today. The nation's number 3 prospect, according to 24/7 Sports, Dante Moore has flipped his commitment from Oregon to UCLA. A little bit of a stunner. We saw some smoke over the weekend when Dante Moore decided to take a late official visit to Westwood. Now the flip is complete. Chip Kelly has his guy for the next 3 to 4 years. Andrew, your instant reaction, Dante Moore to LA.
Raw thoughts. Is this the biggest recruiting win ever for like Chip Kelly? Like I thought this guy didn't like to recruit, and then he just goes and gets the number 3 player in the country, a guy that we think is a potential first round draft pick. So that's the first one. The second one is all we have known at UCLA the past 5 years has been Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I mean, I was watching Bruin games this season. I'm like, this guy is still there. I mean, he appeared in 48 games over the past 5 years, started a majority of them. And to me, I've heard some rumors that UCLA was checking out graduate transfer quarterbacks. Now I think Dante Moore is a guy, yes, he's one of the younger arms in the class of 2023, but I think he could come in, compete for that starting spot in the spring, and potentially start as a true freshman. So those are my raw reactions. I mean, huge shakeup at UCLA. And again, this has got to be the biggest win, I think, for Chip Kelly in a long, long time.
I think the path to the field, Drew, I think the other thing we cannot ignore is that UCLA, USC, they begin Big Ten play starting this upcoming season. You wonder if that factors into Dante Moore's decision a little bit. You got to remember he's from Detroit, Martin Luther King High School, the opportunity to play a little bit closer to family, even though he's going to be out in Los Angeles. Drew, let's get to the other side of this before we come back to UCLA. Dan Lanning did an incredible job along with Kenny Dillingham, the former offense coordinator at Oregon, now the head coach of Arizona State. This is a huge blow for Dan Lanning in Oregon, and they have a very talented class incoming to Eugene. But you look at the quarterback situation right now, very thin. Jay Butterfield already put his name in the transfer portal. Ty Thompson, not a lot of experience at the position, even though he was highly touted. And then there's Bo Nix. I think those conversations have probably ramped up with Dante Moore, Drew, who I know me and you consider the most day one ready arm. But you have to think, for Oregon right now, this is a huge blow. And how do they rebound here in the next couple of weeks?
Well, they got 6 days, right? And there's a ton of names in that transfer portal. So I don't think it's full on panic. I mean, yes, not an ideal situation, but Coop, we kind of raised our hand. We were like, hey, when Kenny Dillingham was linked to that Arizona State job, we said, hey, watch out. Dante Moore might look around. This is what happens when that coaching carousel spins. I mean, we're not just trying to create clicks and headlines. Like, guys start looking around when the people you want to play for or the people you believe you're going to play for are now changing addresses and changing offices. And I think Dante Moore wishes Kenny Dillingham all the success. We know he's obviously close with Dan Lanning as well, but that opened the door for someone to make a move. We thought it would be Michigan State. Turns out it's UCLA. Dante wants to go live out there in Los Angeles. Can't blame him. But no, what does Oregon do? I think you got to go in the transfer portal, right? I mean, sure, you could kick some tires, right, on some of these late bloomers in the class of 2024 or 2023, excuse me, and then maybe peek ahead to 2024 and say, hey, where can we right the ship and get a prep quarterback? Because as much as the transfer portal is the jam, I still think at the end of the day, you got to develop an arm in-house, right? So look to 2024. A lot of those guys are already committed, but now you have some time. And now Oregon, they could potentially lay the framework and groundwork to flip one of those guys at some point down the line. So, Coop, I think transfers is the best option for Dan Lanning, and I think you're going to agree with me.
So what do we expect of Dante Moore at UCLA? To me, Drew, he is not making this move unless he expects to start day one in Los Angeles under Chip Kelly. Right now, there's a guy there. His name is Ethan Garbers, very familiar with, good player. But in terms of Dante Moore's path to the field, I think it's abundantly clear that we're going to see Dante Moore day one as a starter in Westwood.
Well, Coop, remember in advance of this season, we were asked, hey, which true freshman quarterbacks do we think could play in 2022? Cade Klubnik was the kind of the guy we had circled the entire time. And, you know, we can talk about Dabo Sweeney, have some theories on how that process played out, but it took him until the ACC title game really to become quarterback one. You know, I think Dante's a little bit further ahead of Cade, but it's been a while since we've seen a blue chip true freshman at a notable program in a bigger media market be the guy. And do I think Dante Moore's ready? I mean, we've said it. He is the most battle tested tested of these quarterbacks. He's a 2-time state champ there up in Michigan. I think he can make a variety of the throws, but he still is pretty young. And I'll follow that up with, in every setting I've seen him at, a variety of camps, overtimes, OT7 event, he's a guy that wants to be good, and he tries to limit his mistakes, and he doesn't want to turn the football over. So I think if you're UCLA, that's kind of the pitch. Hey, we will allow you to be a game manager year one. It'll be interesting to follow, though. Again, that's asking a lot of a young kid to come in, step in, and be the guy right away.
Well, that's why he's a 5-star. That's why he's number 3 in the country. That's why we considered him arguably the best prospect in the country. This guy, 4-year starter at MLK, 40-11, has 3 state title appearances, 1 as a runner-up, took 2 of them home. 135 touchdowns, 20 INTs. He has completed over 68% of his passes as a starter in 4 years at MLK. Statistic production-wise, that is an elite category, and this guy does not beat himself. He plays within his skill set. I absolutely love the fit of Dante Moore in Los Angeles. So there you have it. For all the news, make sure you keep it locked to 24/7 Sports. And for our director of scouting, Andrew Ivins, I'm Cooper Petagna.